Hi guys, I'm Joe the Multiboxer. Today I'm going to show you a little bit about menus for ISBoxer. Menus, this is a menu right here. This is the standard menu. It goes over your action bar and it broadcasts the number that you press, 1 through equals. Since I'm playing World of Warcraft, it actually defaults to assisting and broadcasting. So I can target a targeting dummy and press 2, and all my guys will take the same target and use the 2 button on their action bar. So what if we want to change that a little bit? I've got a War Stomp ability here on 8, and it's got a 2-minute cooldown. Maybe I don't want to waste that cooldown with all my guys at the same time. So back in ISBoxer, the menu that we were using was the standard menu. So under menus in the top left, click on standard, and you can bring up its properties basically. So here it's got a menu template that controls how it looks, how many buttons it has on it. The hotkey set, this is which buttons you will be pressing to activate the buttons. You don't necessarily have to have hotkeys for your menu. You can remove it if you want, but it makes sense for this menu to have hotkeys on it. The button set, we're using standard assist and broadcast for World of Warcraft, but you can use the normal standard broadcast in order to remove the assist. So I'm going to show you a little bit about customizing the button set here. And I'm going to make a copy of it and just do I'm going to do one just for this team shock, standard assist and broadcast. Now, if you click on your character set here, this will let you override some parts of the menu just for that character set. So I'm going to override the button set for this team, and whoops, got to click out here to reset that since it didn't save the name in the list there. So Team Shock, Standard, Assistant Broadcast, and now if we go to the button set, I'm going to change this one to Round Robin within selected target. That's in button 8, and technically since it's AoE, it doesn't even need to assist. I can just remove that. I press delete. You can also right click on it and select delete there. So if I export this, exported successfully. Now if I go back into the game, I can press 8 and only one of my guys at a time is going to use his War Stomp ability, and it'll switch which window does that each time I press the button. Okay, and now back in ISBoxer, let's do another. Let's say you want another menu to do the action bar right above it. I have the hotkeys set to Alt 1 through Alt equals, and maybe I want those to have another menu right there. So I'm going to start out, I'm going to make copies of, let's see, the standard menu. Make a copy of that up here. I'll call it standard menu 2, and this is going to be for my Alt hotkeys instead of the normal ones. So down here we can reuse the same menu template, so it'll look exactly the same, have the same number of buttons, but we're going to change the hotkey set, Alt keys, and we're going to make another button set. Alt, assist, and broadcast. So I just copied what we had before. I guess I should have copied the normal standard one. It's okay. Copy, paste, and I'll move that up above the number, and this is exactly the same as the standard one is again. And so in here in the hotkeys set, we can change each of these hotkeys to include Alt 2, Alt 3, all the way through Alt equals. And this is the buttons that we are going to press to activate the menu. We have to change the button set next in order to have ISBoxer send the right button to the game, because it's not necessarily the same as the hotkey that you want to press to activate it. So here's the Alt for this. We change each of the key combinations over here. Alt 3, Alt 4, 5. And this might take a minute, but once you've got this all done, then that's all we have to do. 7, 8. Minus and equals. Alright, so I've got Alt 1 through Alt equals set up in the button set, and the hotkeys are Alt 1 through Alt equals. And so now I can attach the standard menu 2 to my character set. I'll just drag that right down here. So it says character sets Team Shock 2013. And I'm not going to override on this one. I will just set up the menu itself to use Alt keys and Alt Assist and Broadcast. Now, you can set the starting position. This is just where it comes up until you actually click the save button in the game. But the default starting position is fine, since I'm going to change where it's located after I get it going. So here's my second menu. I'll move this one out of the way and drag this one into place. That's probably about good. And I'll sync it and save. And now I also I have 2 menus now instead of just the one. I've got Alt and the 1 through equals. So now if I press, say, Alt 9, then all of my guys have Magma Totem right there, and it should go ahead and cast Magma Totem. And again, this whichever menus you add, the hotkeys are controlled by the hotkeys toggle. So Shift Alt M or clicking this button here will turn off that hotkey, and I can use Alt 9 now, just in one window at a time, or Alt 8, or whichever of these buttons that I want. So I'll turn this back on, and that's pretty much it. So you can click on them or use the hotkeys to activate either of these 2 menus, and I showed you how to set up the round robin on just a single button. I did that on a override in the standard menu, so that if I make another team, that team doesn't necessarily have that same ability on the 8 key, and so the new ones would be using the normal standard and assist and broadcast button set, whereas I have this specific one just for Team Shock. So it's really easy to set up different buttons or whatever for each of your different teams. And that's all I got to show you right now, and have fun.